sure if you've been around the past 2 or 3 years now that you remember the absolute boom in popularity that was Friday Night Funkin. Now, if you don't, I don't blame you. The devs have done kind of nothing. But I personally was a part of the whole FNF craze back in late 2020 and majority of 2021. So basically during its peak. And I played the game itself, I had a lot of fun playing it along with other Roblox versions of it like Funky Friday as well, with a couple buddies of mine. But over time, as the game itself got practically no updates and the mods itself kind of just got repetitive and boring for a time, I kind of just left and never really came back. The last mod I personally cared about was Hypno's Lullaby V2 around a year ago. And ever since then, I kind of just stopped caring. But during that time, we got ourselves some very well-made Undertale mods during the peak of FNF. And in today's video, that's what I'm going to be talking about. And yeah, mainly 3 because there's a lot. So, I don't know, maybe I'll talk about it in another video, maybe, probably not, I'm not sure. Yeah, but without further ado, let's start off with... probably the most well-known Undertale mod we have here. It came out around September 7th of 2021, so literally smack dab in the peak of FNF's popularity. And the general premise, like most Undertale mods, take the story from an existing AU, in this case being DustTale, with it basically just being the BF taking over the place of Frisk and X-Chara while going through the same events as they did in the original DustTale game, with even similar dialogue at times, like him being freaked out at facing Frisk early when he's not ready, when he doesn't have enough LV to face them. The confrontation where they see who can kill Undyne first, and the final fight at the Judgment Hall. That's kind of a given. The mod is very clearly made to re-invoke the same type of nostalgia since the original DustTale storyline was years and years ago, August 22nd of 2018 to be exact. And generally speaking, it does a very good job of following it to a good degree, just with the added fact of us seeing a blue-haired teen with his chilling girlfriend who's literally unfazed by the events that are transpiring in front of her. So, yeah. The songs themselves are pretty good with a couple bops here and there. Specifically for the earlier ones, after the second Undyne fight song, this starts to get pretty repetitive. My personal favorite songs from this mod are the Murderer song and Red Megalovania. Those 2 songs I do feel they capture the essence of DustTale the best. Drowning song just makes me mad because it takes notes from Undyne's theme and changes the notes ever so slightly to where I just want to visibly cringe. And any song past that is just... ugh. They're just personally not my cup of tea, especially for the mod of this stupid amount of difficulty. And they reuse a lot of motifs in the same non-creative way that just makes most of the songs just blend together into this mesh of mushiness that just makes you want to play something else. Outside of the music, the gameplay itself for an FNF mod is pretty standard, with it taking a lot of cues from Tricky mod where they have like fake notes that hurt your health bar below, and like a last breath style mechanic where the screen flips. From what I know, the keys don't switch, but it's just a distraction. The only thing I have an issue is the fact that this mob is filled with
spam the screen with note-itis.
Around the last couple songs in the mod, the difficulty becomes stupidly unnecessarily hard, with a difficulty spike more noticeable than your uncle on Christmas Day with anything. Not only do the songs have a high as hell BPM, meaning the songs just naturally go faster, and the fact that there's also spamming notes in your face, including the 2 variants of fake notes. Yes, there is 2 variants, not just 1, 2. And the fact that in the last couple songs in the Judgment Hall, a Gaster Blaster just comes out of nowhere and just whacks your entire health bar, and you have to play notes perfectly so you don't fail. You're just bound to have a unironic bad time trying to even think about playing this mod. Now, obviously, for more high-skilled players of FNF, or at least people who play Osu for their lives, this is probably nothing. Hell, I see Osu players make fun of FNF mods for generally not being as hard as Osu is, or any other veteran rhythm game similar. But for the average player with an average to above average skill level who generally plays casually,
so basically everyone else,
it's abhorrent and not fun. It's one of the major reasons why I began to distance myself from mods in general, because it literally seemed like with each new one coming out, it just had to one up the other in a difficulty spike to spice it up, I guess. Overall, the mod itself is a decent love letter to the original story, but good grief is it unfun as hell to play in later songs. And guess what? That's the majority of the mod. 7 out of 10. This is probably the most bare bones out of the 3 mods, generally speaking. It doesn't go over any like specific event or any direct scene per se from the Underverse series, but I'm still going to talk about it since a lot of these mods are just 1 week anyway. Overall, this mod is just X-Tail characters plus ink just smashed into 1 week, you know, with not much cohesion, generally speaking. Like none of the songs really go into one another. It starts off with X-Chara, and we learn that she actually used to sing. I don't know if that's canon or not, but you know, it works. And then the song commences, bip bap bop. Then we're at Ink basically telling us,
your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill yourself.
Then we sing, and then abruptly go to X-Chara himself, talking wingdings and beeps, sing, then bam, the mod's over. It's pretty straightforward, but the one cool thing about this mod that it has going for it was that it was made almost entirely, with the exception of the sprites, by Nyx the Shield, Jakey's husband, which is honestly really cool. And that means that we get to hear his absolute bangers put in the FNF form, along with the visuals made by the creator of Underverse and X-Tail themselves, Jakey, or Jail Underpinnet. I still don't know how to say their name. The difficulty of the songs themselves are very hard, don't get me wrong. Most casual players will probably not bother, but I think to a point it can be fun, since it's not stupidly unnecessarily hard like DustTale can be at times. You just need some fast reaction time and heavy amounts of practice that most people probably wouldn't care to put into this mod anyway. Overall, it's a pretty good but nothing too extravagant 7 out of 10. Now I know what you're thinking. The mod itself is not directly Undertale. It's a collaboration of other games like Cuphead and Bendy. But honestly, the week itself could be its own singular mod, so it counts. And besides, I already covered X-Tail anyway. But let me tell you, this mod blows away any other Undertale mod out of the water. Genuinely. Starting off with the music, it's literally the best. Unironically, it's a 10 out of 10. All 4 of them. Yeah, I said 4. This game has 2 routes that you can take depending on what you do, and I'll get to that later. But when it comes to just the music, they're all bangers. There's not a single one that I don't think is genuinely bad or even like mediocre. It's not like the DustTale mod where the songs just kind of like sound the same to a point, mainly due to just how long the mod is on its own. But it's not like that. And also, technically I lied, there's like 6 songs in total, but those are like extra songs that don't have anything to do with the week. So I'm not gonna focus on that, but those do exist and they're also bangers. Each song in this mod basically serves a purpose gameplay wise. The first song, Whoopee, short for Whoopee Cushion, is basically meant to be a nod to how Sans starts his boss fight in the original Undertale game. Literally starting off with his strongest attacks, using a bunch of mechanics like blue bone notes, orange bone notes, and a mechanic where you have to dodge bones that come from under you by pressing space. And as it continues, the song slows down and stays relatively calm for the rest of the fight, not really using any of those aforementioned mechanics. Again, it's basically just you two singing. And then we go to the next song, Sensational, is like the judge song. This song is what determines what ending you get and what difficulty the songs become. If you attempt to hit him over the course of the song, then the song becomes harder and the mechanics come back as aforementioned from the beginning of Whoopee. And you get this cool like kind of changing of the screen where it hints of another mechanic that isn't fully used till the final song of the pseudo genocide route, where if you don't attack at all, it's not even shown and the whole song is literally normal. And based on what you do in Sensational, If you do the bad route, you get the song Burning in Hell. If you do the goody good route, you get the song aptly named Final Stretch, which is like the most chill and relaxing song on the entire week. And honestly, it's just a good time to play, fitting since you proved your say-so pacifism. While on the genocide route, all the stops are held off. The song bangs like hell. Literally feels like you're right back fighting against OG Sans from the original game all over again. With all the mechanics being used, peaking in difficulty from the beginning. With a new mechanic, like I talked about earlier, where you basically are just playing Undertale. Like you have to move your soul around as Sans sings and blast gaster blasters at you and all that. It's so cool, bro. It literally incorporates everything in that fight and does a pretty good job like re-invoking that same feeling you got from it, but this time in a rhythm game. And not only does the mechanic change, but it also changes the cutscenes between that are really well animated. Which makes sense since it seems like these cutscenes and sprites were made by Moral Productions, the same guy behind Nightmare Mode Sans, which is absolutely awesome. This song is literally a certified 10 out of 10. If you don't agree with it, 9.9, fight me. Now keep in mind, these are the only 3 mods that I kind of care to talk about, but I am willing to make another one if this video gets 100 likes, then I'll make a part 2 talking about 3 more mods. Only if it does. Alright? Deal? Okay then. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. And,
Beep.